from Partial Press in 2021, which is an artist book of hybrid writing and visual art. Also the author of We Knew No Mortality from Active Publications in 2018, which is poetry and memoir, and the chapbook 30 Days Dry from Thought Collection Publishing in 2015. He's the digital archive editor at the Poetry Foundation, pretty big deal. And he earned a PhD right here at the University of Louisville in the humanities, an MFA in creative writing and poetics from Naropa, and a BA in theater and performance studies from the University of Chicago. And here are Eric's words. A terrarium is a new world and a vortex of tear ducts. Welcome, Eric.
Two tech gurus here.
Okay,
Thank you.
wait, it's just acting weird. Maybe. Sorry, I apologize about this. Because when I turned it off, the settings got messed up.
I can try to back. I can improvise.
Okay, wait. Okay, sorry.
Christy, thank you for reading the new poems. I'm going to try to be brave and read new things too, which is also why we need the tech, so I'll go ahead and give you the little intro to that. I'll be reading from my book, Ca Venezia, and I'll be reading the play that's at the center of the book, but I've been collaborating with a musician who lives here in Louisville, Lee Miles, to compose a soundscape for the piece. So I'll be performing the first 4-ish minutes of what we've made together, and in theory, it will be timed with the sound, and there will also be visuals for you to follow along. It is a play, so it's very polyvocal, and I will attempt to do different voices. Though this is not fully staged, so the images should help you follow along.
I think I got it.
Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna go hook this sound up. Those first rhythms of solar excellence filter up. The horizon line disappears. The beast cranes neck up, up, filling the eyes of the tourist with holy resilience. You are in every excellence my muse this day. Send from afar gamma and alpha particles, quell inner cancers, and begin external dimensions. What do you desire for this city, which has screamed in brackish depths longer than man has pontificated? Pigeon and seagull agree. This is sacred ground that time should have no finger on. Her solar wind fires furnaces, harnesses well-lit rhymes, forms quatrains, smoke, 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 a hellish glare of yes-puff sparks, giving one more day of work in glass that cracks open if lightly touched. Delicate balance of orbs other, plastica e vetro ma non di murano. Let it be lightly. Begin the day with a soft kiss, the sound of one foot on the door stoop. See my sun-crisp face, look forward to my mouth's crinkle as I open lips to pour forth hot language, language. Let it be lightly. The day begins with a single word, the sound of one foot on the door stoop. Will I make it mine? That old gal too much for my old eyes. I am but a simple dreamer, a watchman. The city awakens. I hear your tears, Venezia. Sea oil locks dripping into canals sloppily. Does it hurt so much to wrinkle that stiffened back? Let me teach you, lightly, softly, a kiss. Signor Small awakens with, "Let it be loudly, these Venetian streets are quiet enough, full of soundless steps. If that's all, that's it. She's done, call it, not for me. I'll go out screaming, loudly printing pavement stones. Come on in, Zattere, full of loudly." You see my face, my taste, taste, my face picketed, inseamed, my furry, friendly facsimile, yes, you. See me, my bridge, my sigh, my sea, how you can stomach my furious face. This is my bridge, my face is a pock picket, a scram, a screw you, see, my taste, my lit facade, a hot, I'll sweat, I'll wet, 10 feet deep of it, my fundamental. Screw you, see it, it reeks, drowns visitors, a sentimenta, fundamenta, furry, friendly, facsimile. And that's the outfit. So I'm gonna go unhook this section. Can we mute the screen? It's kind of blinding me. Or
Yeah, although
I can turn away.
I can. I'm just gonna have to reset it.
Oh,
Okay, which I will do.
sorry. Alright, and more new things. Now I can see you all. So I'll turn a little bit. These are new poems. That was not a new poem. That's a very old poem. Actually, that poem is 10 years old, even though the book isn't. So I'll be reading some things that are inspired by the work that I did at U of L on magical poetics. This first poem is a channeling of Federico Garcia Lorca, whom I translate. My lover said he hopes one day I'll love him as much as I love you, Lorca. It is preposterous and heavy, your body, but so am I. My want is so large, it's generational, a want built of so many lacks, so much hiding and you inside each covered basket. My want is a fire smoldering through my body, which hovers under his like a pale gnat. My lover asks to carry me over the threshold. I flame and collapse, cold and blue on death's stoop. The flies buzz heavy in my eyes, and my tongue lolls loose, a drooping puppy. The weight of generations kills me, though no one asked me to be so heavy. If I said, find a home inside my rib cage, would he scrapbook or mount my skeleton? Am I tending back towards morbidity and the teenager I was while yearning for whatever more? My lover said he hopes I love him as much as I love you, Lorca, but what he does not know is how deaf you are to me. A specter of generations and a body of empty husks on which my name is also fixed, like so many before me. Grotesque masks and rakes of blood, the mystery of the closet and the boy I saw myself within. But I don't want to crawl inside your skin and see out the sad, pale world. Yours is a body I have been. What I love is the memory of you. How, by choreographing past injury, I might skim off dead decades that cling to my lover's skin. And this poem is a continuation of my dissertation. So Christy will recognize immediately what's going on here. It's such a treat to read it here. So in my dissertation, I channeled a different persona, mask, and this is Tiresias, so the blind prophet in Greek mythology. Tiresias doesn't colonize Mars, and you can't either. I'm struggling against the lyric. I'm struggling to write against the I impulse. Here, angry with the navel-gazers, the neo-romantics, though Rupi Kaur sells her soul copycat heroes who write their lines in the arm pumping in and out of the heart. Look at me, look at this morphine in the shape of a lyric. Ooh, that stings so good, pimp me out another. I'm struggling against the lyric. I'm struggling against the fantasy, I matter. I bet you one black hole that you don't. Matter floats between the cracks in my mask. I can't avoid my own sentimentalism, by which I mean ignore my urge to self-immolate, self-memorialize in the poem. Maybe they teach this in high school. Maybe here I am writing against the lyric. Tiresias doesn't colonize Mars and you can't either, not because of technology, but because the universe is apathetic, cosmically ambivalent, and Mars is not for us. Earth might touch you back, meaning hold me, and hold me here. I didn't steal that from Rupi Kaur, but I think she could have written it, and that is maybe the beauty and the wisdom of her universal lyric. It is precisely human. When it is beautiful, Mars is red as a storm, and the lyric is all of us. Back to Tiresias, I can only say they are emphatically not on Mars. They're thinking of that scene in Watchmen, when Dr. Manhattan goes to Mars and makes his whole own spherical home in space and sets it spinning and oscillating despite himself before turning it into sand. Like Elsa, if that's easier. Dr. Manhattan Project leaves and blows up Manhattan, I mean Vietnam. He wished he'd blown up Manhattan, I mean Tiresias wished that. I wish that. Sometimes I linger on Whitman and go back further to Manhattan. What the fuck was that like? For those people, what was that place? Barely islands with some grass before Whitman, before whoever decided to plant English, that is, to rip away. It's always the islands that turn out the concretest, like Venice floating and buzzing, Manhattan floating and buzzing. Rivers of oil and tar, sexy boys in the sun, and the river with Whitman and his pastoral glasses gawking. Always the river, oiling up bodies. It floats on past the islands, the oil. There's no home on Mars, I mean no islands on Mars. There is no water on Mars. Humans are water. What else could we become? Red dirt, silicon, iron, an island? Tiresias wants to stay squishy. Tiresias could have become that doctor, I think, but they don't go to Mars. I'm gonna get a drink of water, and I have one more thought. You're guarding. Alright, so this one is just for fun. In it, I reference Peter. Peter is Peter O'Leary. If any of you know Peter, he'll probably be at the conference, so tell him I talked about him behind his back. Hex on Elon Musk as a portrait of humanity. I was sitting in Millennium Park with Peter, and we were talking about social media and literary presses on Twitter, and the Twitter firing. Elon's massacre, purge mass exodus from the dumpster conflagration of Musk. I really don't want to write a poem centered on Elon Musk, he said, pen in hand. And I really enjoy Peter and his writing. He taught me how to read certain poets and how to obsess over certain concepts, little mind tricks, like the way he writes the same poems over and over in a notebook, ritual scribbling, Sybil leaves, and he does it until the poems are done. And so when he said, I really don't want to write a poem centered on Elon Musk with a pen in his hand, I took him rather seriously and I trusted his opinion on the matter. And Peter added, shitbag, but as part of a sentence. And I replied that Elon Musk really is a paragon of capitalist billionaire shitbaggery. Peter laughed and said, he is, sure. I'm going to space, you can't stop me, I added. And I'll buy Twitter, what will I do next? I fell silent, dreading my own answer. I did not speak that answer into existence, not then. Flaming shit, jet fuel, private jet fuel, flagration shit baggery of billionaires fucking into existence, we speak the dying throes of a dying 1% colonizers under the sword. We think, wishful think, what goes first, the colonizer or the colony? I really don't want to write a poem centered on Elon Musk, but I have to. At this point, you expect it, and the poem is already Elon, is already Musky. The poem is Elon, and here's the pin. Jab, jab, jab. The poem has, now Elon does too, sorcery. This Elon is a shitbaggery, and we shan't imagine what I can do next. Look at this Elon and see yourself reflected in it. Don't think about the holes in the ozone, pin, pin, pin. Don't think about holes in the Arctic. Don't think about assholes tweeting about their dicks to whining masculinist, white we are so threatened colonizer fuckists. Don't imagine any new satellites. My sister told me that an astronomer told a spooky story for Halloween at the planetarium, and I would have loved it. About all the satellites orbiting Earth, and how if you hit one on exit, you will probably turn into shrapnel yourself and burn out screaming. And the Musk has a permit for thousands more than the hundreds of satellites he's already put up there, so we may never be able to leave his planet alive. This Elon is a portrait of humanity. See yourself in it. Your reliance on every other human who has taught you how to be human and has interrupted your humanity too. See yourself in it. Every other human who has fucked you up and in and out with whatever they think they have to do to survive and or thrive, in the end of the dream and the waking of capitalism, in the aftermath of manifest destiny, the earth shrinking before our eyes. See all of us. See every desperate human itching for meaning like a dog running in a dream, in this Elon, like a dog scratching, pin, 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 at the heart of the black hole of capitalism. I mean the universe, oops. At the heart of all there is. I mean human experience. See yourself. I really don't want to write an Elon centered on poetry, but now I have. My cornflakes are wet and dripping. My marketing is soggy. My brain is fried and steaming. Twitter is a flame. I've never felt so lonely inside a sentence. Thanks.